All right, Jennifer, thumbs up. Good to go? All right. Good evening, everybody. This is Ryder Warren, Superintendent of the School District. If you are going to zoom in, not zoom in, if you're going to tune in live, thanks for being here. We do appreciate that. If you're going to download this later, thank you for doing that. This one is our second. This is our second Facebook Live of the new year. And very glad to do it. I hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. Into the summer, time to get to work and be very, very proud of your children. Be very proud of our teachers, our staff, our families, because that's exactly what we did. We got back to work. Let's see, Michael, we've been in school, I think, 14 days. 14 days, and they have been doing an amazing job. So I really do appreciate that. All right, folks, we got a lot to talk about. I've got all the usual suspects around me to help me out tonight. Dr. Michael Griffin, who is in charge of our instructional programs, is here to answer any questions instructionally. Tim McClure is here, who's Assistant Superintendent of Facilities. Tim is also in charge of safety and security of the district. So he's really now, he and a few others are all things COVID, which he would rather not be, but he is. And then, of course, Angela is going to be monitoring your questions. I'm going to do the same thing I always do, guys. I've got a PowerPoint for you. Jeremy's about to put the PowerPoint up on the screen. I'm going to go through this PowerPoint with you and then give you hopefully some good information. And then we'll come back to me. I'll shut up, and then we'll do as many questions as we can before we call it a night. Again, the number one thing for me, folks, is thank you for supporting the schools like you have been. With all the craziness in the world that's going on right now in here locally, in our state, in our nation. I have been very impressed with our kids, what they're doing in the schools. They're working hard. Our teachers are working hard, and those who support our teachers are equally working hard. So I really do appreciate this. We're off to a really, really good start amid all the whatever chaos that COVID has created and everything else. So I'm very proud of everybody. So just know that. All right. So let's go to our presentation, Jeremy. And let me say this first before Jeremy goes on to the next slide. Let me apologize to all of our new people in the district. Guys, I came in, I think it's only been a couple of weeks since the first Facebook Live, but I really didn't even introduce anybody to the district. We have so many new families, and I'll talk about our enrollment here in just a second. We have so many new families that come in every year, and I did a really terrible job of just talking about us and introducing us to them and making them feel welcome. So I'm going to make up for that. That's completely on me. So I'm going to make up for that tonight. And I'm just going to give you some general information. Most of you have already seen this. I had a great meeting this morning. We had our PTA roundtable. We had officers and PTA members from all over the district. Probably had about, I don't know, Michael, about 115, 120 people on that Zoom, and we had a great meeting. And so a lot of the information that I shared with them, I'm going to share with you tonight. And again, just making sure that our newbies feel welcomed and just know that we're very proud of them for being here. So look at this first slide. If you've not seen any of my presentations before, or if it's been a while since you've seen my presentations, I always give information about us. This is us, guys, Northwest ISD. For this part of the world, around the Metroplex, we are a very large geographical school district, 234 square miles. That's a big one. We are one of the fastest growing school districts in this region, in our state. We're in the top 10 in our state. With the opening of the new Berkshire Elementary School, we are 31 campuses this year. And of course, a pride point with us are the communities that we serve. 14 different towns and communities, 3 different counties, Denton, Tarrant, and Wise. And folks, this growth is not going to stop anytime soon. We are tracking 115 different active housing developments right now, and we're only 30% built out. So Tim and his crew are in charge of everything to do with the growth in there and making sure our facilities are ready for that growth. And so that is what they are actually tracking right now, 115. Those are the communities that we serve, folks. We have at least one kid in every one of those communities, and most of those communities, we've got a whole lot of kids. but we are very proud to represent these communities as Northwest ISD and serve these communities as Northwest ISD. And so, again, we're very proud to do that. We have a strategic framework. 4 years ago, a group of parents, teachers, central office staff members, supporters, students, we got together, and every 4 years we create this strategic framework that really lays out who we are. And I'll give you a little heads up. I said the same thing to our PTA leaders this morning. If you would like to be a part of the next strategic framework development, we're actually going to do that next fall. We're going to go through this last year of the strategic framework this school year, and then the fall of 22, we will do another one. So if you are at all interested in being part of that group, contact us at the central office. Just ask for the superintendent's office, and a very nice lady named Jennifer will take your name, and we would love for you to be a part of that. But here's what 4 years ago that were important to those, and we probably had about 90 to 100 people in the room that day, but this is what was important to us district-wide. Those are our core beliefs. Kids come first in all decisions. And this one is absolutely essential for this year. Continuous learning is essential to prepare for college and career opportunities. To get the kids where we need to be there, to where they need to be at the end of this school year, we have to have continuous learning. We are all responsible for our children in NISD. Every student success is a shared responsibility of our students, our families, our schools, and our communities. And the environments that we have and the environments that we maintain in the district, that is truly is what influences our learning. Our vision for NISD is that we empower learners and leaders to positively impact the world. And guys, I'm not just talking about the kids. This is for all of us. We all need to be learners every day. We need to learn something new every day. We need to lead, and we need to make sure the decisions that we make and how we lead, we positively impact the world. So we really have a strong vision in that. And the mission statement that we have, it again tells about the importance of us all working together to truly make sure the kids are ready to navigate their future. That our students themselves, our families, our communities, and our partners all engage in that culture of learning. The 3 strategic goals, we are known, in fact, Northwest ISD is a leader in the state of setting goals and following through with those plans. All of our goals, all of our plans begin with these 3 strategic goals. The first one is just about the kids, the experiences the kids have every day, to make sure that we are personalizing their learning, to make sure that we are going to get them across that finish line when they leave us so that they're going to succeed. Number 2 talks about our staff. We have such a phenomenal staff. We're up to about 3,000 staff members, of which about 1,700 are classroom teachers, and they are phenomenal. And we truly appreciate them, and we want to make sure we continue to recruit, to value, and retain that exceptional staff that works with our kids or who support the ones who work with our kids. And then again, we talk about our culture and our environment, where all stakeholders are engaged in helping out. Here are the imperatives for us this school year. In fact, these are the 7 goals, the challenges in which I will be evaluated myself. If anyone ever asks, how do I get evaluated? These things are the things that the board will sit down with me at the end of the year and really gauge, was this school year successful? Was I successful? First and foremost, parents, I hope you already know this if you've been in the district for a while, but if you have not been in the district, literacy. Our kids are not going to gain 1 inch academically unless they can read. So elementary parents, please be reading to your children, with your children. Same thing with our secondary kids, parents and caregivers. Stress reading to those folks, to those kids, but we've got to make sure that we can read going through there. We've got to have academic progress. And again, I think I told you this last time, guys, our goal at the end of the school year is to have every child where they were pre-COVID. We did have that academic slide. Every school district in the state had academic slide over this last couple of years, but we've set ourselves, Michael, to truly get the kids back up to where they were pre-COVID, and Michael and her crew and all of our instructional staff are doing an amazing job already trying to get there. College, career, military, and life readiness. I told the PTA group this morning, I make mamas mad at me all the time when I say this, but folks, my job, our job in the school district is to get kids ready to leave home. Whether they choose college, a career, if they go into the military, and to be socially, emotionally ready for that. That's what we do. So we take that very seriously to get kids ready to be successful when they leave us. They have to put in their own work ethic into this equation, but we want to give them all the tools to be able to do that. We want to recognize the changes that are happening in the district, equity and diversity. We are so proud of our student body in the district. I think we're up, Michael, we serve more than 60 different languages in the district. That tells you how diverse our student population is. We probably have kids from every state in the United States. We have probably kids from dozens of different countries in the district right now. And the equity part of it, that truly means that every child is going to have an equal opportunity to be successful. That's what we mean by equity. And those guys, those words are being thrown around a lot now. Sometimes they're more controversial than others when we talk about stuff like that. But that's what it means to us. We honor our diversity. We want to make sure we know kids come from different backgrounds, but it doesn't matter what color our children are. It doesn't matter what they have at home and what they don't have at home, what they believe in and what they don't believe in. Our goal is to make sure they have an equal opportunity to fulfill their dreams, and that's what we're going to dedicate ourselves to. We're going to support our faculty and our staff. We're going to make sure financially we're right on the ball for forever. And then, as I said, Tim is in charge of safety and security. We're going to do our very best to make sure that every day our kids and our staff and any other adult that's in their buildings feel safe. So this is how we have encapsulated our year. Our district theme this year is that every kid is going to thrive every day. And when you look at academic progress for the year, that's what we have to have. Every child has got to move a little bit more down the road academically than they were yesterday. And so that is what we have dedicated ourselves, that every kid is going to thrive every day. We've had a lot of challenges. I was thinking about this the other day. I told the PTA members, just look at what we've done this last couple of years. And this one, the only reason I'm showing you this is just to say thank you, because we could not have done it without you. We could not have done it without the support of our families, the support of our staff, and the kids, everybody. We all did this together. And pretty much if you look at just those 5 things that I wrote down, we did that all last year. And sometimes school districts don't even take on one of those things during a school year, and we did all 5. We're still dealing with COVID. We dealt with the freeze. We took care of each other during the freeze. We had families involved in redistricting and having to switch schools because of the fast growth that we're doing. We got through that. The bond, the budget, all of those things, the cuts in funding that we've received and realized from the state. So this slide, more than anything else, is just saying thank you for the support that we have. And again, we could not have been as successful as we were without you. Okay, if you remember my last presentation, my first Facebook Live, and I believe it happened about a few days before the beginning of the school year, this is what we were guessing, that we were going to be 26,000 plus kids coming back to school in 2021. Let me show you last Friday. That's where we are, guys. We are now, Michael and Angela and Tim and I and several different people, we get our enrollment numbers before we leave for our weekends every Friday. We always check our numbers. This is where we were last Friday, 27,531. We are way exceeding our projections for this school year. We're actually right on pace. And those of you who are new to Northwest ISD, we usually grow between 1,000 maybe to 1,200 kids, between 1,000 to 1,200 kids a year. We are on pace to exceed 2,000 new children this school year. And guys, that's fantastic. This is not me griping about that. for our families moving in and the kids wanting to come to Northwest ISD and the families, we love that. I love that. And so that is not a gripe. It is just, it puts some pressure on us and it puts some extra challenges on us. But I just want to make sure that those folks understand we love that you're here, and we're growing almost pretty much every day. So if you are new to the district, there is a great graphic to show you where our schools are. If you can see the little stars, and you'll be able to go back over this on our website. But all those little red maroonish stars, those are all of our elementary schools. We have 20 this year. With Berkshire, and you can see Berkshire down there off of 287, those are all of our elementary schools. All the green stars are the 6 middle schools we have right now. All the blue stars are the 4 high schools, Eaton, Northwest, Steele, and Byron. And then all those yellow stars are where we have already bought land. Tim is also in charge of land procurement, and we always save money from our bonds to purchase land, making sure we have enough land, because truly, if we have 50 more years of growth, we're going to need more land to build those schools to be able to fulfill our promises to our children with those facilities. So I just wanted you to see that and make sure that you knew where everything was and everything like that. Okay, let's talk about the school year. Let's talk about a couple of things academically, and then we'll get into the COVID update. Folks, if you have seen this on the news, I have written about it in my reports, but HB 4545, we are actually, this is a law now that our children are under. This was passed during the regular session of the state legislature this last spring. It is accelerated learning requirements for any kid who did not show success, who did not pass any parts of the STAR test, whether that be the STAR test from third grade through 8th grade, and then we call it the STAR is called the end of course exams at the high school level, and some middle schoolers take end of course exams, correct too, Michael? So if any kids failed any parts of the STAR, reading or math, science or social studies, we're going to have to put in an accelerated learning requirements because of HB 45. So Jeremy, go on to that next slide. This is what this looks like. Every kid now who is going to be under this mandate, and I believe, Michael, that probably our secondary kids have already been contacted about this. Is that correct?
Excuse me. Yes, that is correct. Our secondary
but then our elementary kids are probably to be.
This elementary parents will be getting communication in the next week or two. Okay.
We will be notified. If you've not already been notified about this, you will be notified about this. Look at that last little blip down at the bottom on HB 233. And let me get a little bit political. Parents, caregivers, teachers who are watching tonight, I think HB 4545 is a very bad bill. Y'all know I can do a great job griping about the legislature, and I've done that before. I don't call any single people out. I don't draw any kind of criticism to individuals. I usually don't do that. But just in general, for the legislature to have passed this bill, it's a bad bill. All of our children who may have not have done great on the STAR test don't need 30 hours of supplemental accelerated instruction. And we know that, parents know that, and the kids know that. We have kids in our system right now who have never who have never failed a STAR test in their lives, and they just had a bad day. We had kids coming into test last year that had not been in a classroom for a year and a half because they were remote learning, and they were just nervous even not being in school. They may have not have done as well as they usually did on the STAR. For the state now to require 30 hours, no matter what the situation is with the child, no matter what their academic progress has been, no matter how well they do for us, for our teachers, they're going to get the 30 hours. So I'm going to tell you right now, number one is the legislature actually had, during the second special session, had created HB 233 that was actually going to fix a lot of this in 4545, but it wasn't passed. They kind of did what they needed to do, and then they went home. So HB 233 did not pass. So we're still under 4545, and Michael and her crew, our teachers, we're going to do our very best to fulfill the requirements of 4545, but we're going to do so in a manner not to put any additional stress. And even in the worst part, we're not going to hurt kids with this. And I wanted you to hear me say that. The Commissioner of Education even knows that this is not the greatest bill of all time, because he understands how hard it is going to be to implement this. So we're going to make sure that we are very pragmatic about this. Most of our teachers and our principals already had plans in place before 45 ever came to pass. We already were thinking about this school year, what we need to do with our kids to accelerate their learning. But the 45 actually did a little bit more than we needed it to. And again, that's just politics. But I didn't want anybody surprised if you get a call. You already know STAR scores. We've already informed everybody of the STAR scores. So if you get a letter saying something about accelerated learning, you'll know what this is and you'll know why. And like I said, we're going to make the best decisions to honor this bill. It's not a bill anymore. It's the law. But we're also going to do so in a manner not to just overload students who might already be stressed out by just normal life these days. So I wanted you to hear me say that. All right, let's talk about our new health and safety protocols. This is toward the end of the PowerPoint now. Well, we got a little bit more to go. Folks, remember our monitoring system. We have set up a dashboard. And guys, this was actually, as of this morning, we had 452 active cases. You can get on the dashboard at any time. Okay, 499 today. If you looked at our dashboard, it updates about 6:15 every night. So today's numbers is 499, and we're kind of all over the place right now. The last 3 days we've gone down. The first 4 or 5 days of school, we went up. Now we went down over the weekend. Now we probably go up. I do know that the health departments are nervous about Labor Day, depending on how families celebrated their Labor Days, if they were around a lot of crowds or anything like that. But I want you to know that we will have this up. And in fact, we've got a couple of ideas from PTA leaders on how to make this dashboard better, maybe give you a little bit more information. So we're working on that right now. Kara Carter, who is all things technology in the district, she and her crew are going to work to maybe put a little bit more information on there for you. And if that makes you feel better, that's fantastic. We'll do that. Right now, we have 6 closed classrooms. Of all the classrooms we have on 31 different schools, we have 6 closed because of COVID cases. Either kids have COVID or they're being quarantined. And we're looking at several right now. So I just want to make sure that you know that. Go to that. If you need to look at those numbers, go to that COVID dashboard, and you will see everything right there. All right, and there's the things. If you look at kind of what I look at every day is just looking at total numbers of COVID cases. The percentage, if you look at all 27,500 kids, what percentage are we at? And we are, 499 kids sounds like a huge number, but guys, it's still about 1.6% of our entire population. So we're a very low percentage of kids. We do not want 499 children with COVID or quarantined because of COVID. We do not want that to happen, but that also means 27,000 kids are well right now, and they're doing their job, and they're doing that. And the kids that are not well right now, the kids and staff that are sick, are doing their best to get well. So that's where we are. Like I said, we came up. We're growing 40 to 50. Then we grew about 20. Then we started coming down. We dropped about 27, dropped 69, and now we're up about 50, a little under 50 more for today. So that's for you to know. There are the 3 things that I really need to get your mind wrapped around. If you will consider it at all, please make sure we highly recommend that kids and staff wear their masks, that we get vaccinated. In fact, from the governor all the way down, if we can reach that herd immunity, that's where they say that COVID is really going to be defeated. So try to make a decision about getting vaccinated, and then please, whether it be kids coming to school or staff coming to school, do not come to school sick. And we're going to talk about a little bit of that. We've got some questions about attendance and everything like that. But please make sure if you have any kind of symptoms, stay at home this year. Please make sure you do that. Okay. So our new challenges, our new changes to our protocols, I've gone through the monitoring processes with you. We're investigating those clusters that we have in any of our schools or any of our buildings, our departments. Those of you who are new to this area, remember we are very unique in the fact that our school district is served by 5 different health departments. So we've got 5 that give us, and we're pretty much getting a common recommendations from those 5. We have Wise County, Denton County, Tarrant County, and then Tarrant County actually has 2 other health departments. Arlington has one of their own, and Burleson has one of their own. But those 3 things that I just talked to you about, wearing your mask, getting vaccinated, and not coming to school sick, that's what those health departments are preaching right now. So please may do that. And also know that we are differentiating between ages of our kids, because we know there are groups of our kids that cannot be eligible to receive those vaccines, even if parents or they want to have them. So we understand that. So there's the website. If you want to go on and look at our new protocols, you should have received all of those. Just to go over a couple of those, Tim and his team are going to react when we have that 3%. If we have 3% in a building, if we have 3% in classroom, if we get up there, now that 3% it doesn't mean an automatic closure. That's not what we mean by 3%. It just means we're going to start watching and investigating and trying to understand why it's at 3% to see if there's any of those linked cases. Did I say that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so just make sure that that's what I understand. If you get on the website and you do your math and you say, oh, there's a campus that is above 3%, that doesn't mean automatically it's going to close. We're just going to get in there to see what's happening in there, and we're going to have those conversations with the principal, with the COVID contact at each of the campuses, and then make those decisions. And if we have to make a decision like we have over the last 14 days of closing a class or closing a program, what comes to mind could be anything. The kids are grouped together and doing some kind of a club or program. We could make those decisions, and then parents and caregivers, we will make sure to provide for you that information. The number on investigation is 10% at the secondary schools. And remember, secondary kids from 7th grade through 12th grade, they actually can get the vaccination. And that's why we feel very comfortable in making sure, because we feel we do have more immunity at our secondary schools. We've not had to close any secondary campuses or classes yet, any programs yet. We have a couple of, I think we've got a couple of sports teams that might be getting close, but we're just going to keep watching. At 10%, we're going to look to see if they have any link cases, if it's intensifying. We're going to make sure we watch our guest educators numbers, our teacher numbers, to see that we can still put on school and we can still put on those athletic events and fine arts events, career and technology events, things like that. So we're making sure that we have this in place, and we have teams in place that are going to be researching every time that we hit those thresholds. And guys and parents, I'm sorry about this one, but really, this is not the time to mix and mingle right now. So we are not going to have any more. We're not going to have visitors for the first 9 weeks of school. We started it at 4 weeks, but because all 5 of our health departments are reporting spikes right now, especially in the ages of 0 to 17, we're going to extend the no visitor rule to the first grading period, the first 9 weeks. We're going to limit our volunteers. We do have some volunteers that are coming into our schools from PTA volunteers, but we're not going to have the especially at our elementary schools, we're not going to have the visitors yet. We want to get back to them to be able to do that. So for our elementary schools, the no visitors are permitted on campus right now. We're not going to have any events right now inside the school, and that's the big word, Tim, is inside the school. If programs, if special activities can happen outside in the fresh air, we're fine with that. And the building principals are going to be talking to parents and caregivers. They're going to be talking to you more about this, but not inside where that we would have so many more people inside the classroom and inside the building than would be normal. None of those special events. Secondary, about the same thing. We're not going to sponsor. I've had a couple of emails about dances. This is not the time right now for a school district to sponsor a dance. The things that for our athletic events, fine arts events, career and technology, all those take place outside the school day. So there's a limited amount of people who will be attending those. The large events that can occur outside, I got a couple of emails about pep rallies. Absolutely, we could take pep rallies outside. We're going to get a little warm during the day, but we can absolutely have those things. Homecoming is absolutely still on. The parade are still on. All the special days that the kids have are still on for homecoming. We're just not going to be doing the dances. I hope that's just common sense right now. It's not. We won't be sponsoring dances during the time of COVID. So there's all the information on that. Remote learning, we are continuing to refine our remote learning program. And I didn't put this down on this slide, but parents, if you want to look at another bill that did pass this last legislative session, special session, SB 15, the issue that we had all last year was we actually had 6,000 to 7,000 kids in remote learning, and because they felt safer to do so, but the legislature would not support that this year. Well, I think a lot of parents and a lot of students told them how disappointed they were with it. So Senate Bill 15 was passed that is going to allow us to do look into remote learning again. So Michael and her crew are investigating. They're reading SB 15 right now. The governor has not signed it yet, so it's not a law yet, but as soon as it is, we will let you know if there's going to be any changes in remote learning. Let me give you just a couple more information, just some questions that we've been getting about quarantining and student absences. Read over that slide. Right now, folks, people are emailing me, why in the world aren't we quarantining like we used to, like we did last year? Well, look at that first blip. We can't. No school district can require quarantining right now for close contacts. Absolutely, if a student or a staff member have COVID, they're going to go home for the 10 days to get better. But the kids and the staff that we have that are in close contact, that Tim's investigation says they're in close contact, the state has said that is now a parent choice whether to quarantine. The only thing that we can do, now look at that second, because there's one change to that, and this just happened at the end of last week. The new TEA public health guidance is we can actually, when I say we, the school district may choose to require quarantining if it is a household-based close contact. Folks have been emailing me like, why in the world haven't you made siblings stay home? Because they've got to be in close contact in the home. Well, before last Friday, we couldn't. Now we actually can do that. So we're going to be looking into that. We're going to meet with our COVID team, and we may very likely be sending you guidance at the end of the week that we are going to start requiring siblings of positive COVID students to stay home with that, and that just happened. So I appreciate TEA making that decision. Another question that we're getting a lot of is about how absences are going to be coded for quarantining, if they have to quarantine or if it's COVID. Folks, anything COVID, please know that those absences are going to be excused. We're still, every kid in the state, no matter what the reason for the absence, you still have to come up to the state law about the required attendance rules. But we're going to give a lot of leniency this year and a lot of grace. We've been asking you for a lot of grace, and we're going to give the kids a lot of grace on these absences. So if they're quarantining because of close contact, if they have COVID, those are absolutely going to be excused absences. The kids are going to be allowed to make up their work, Michael, as they always are, and we just hope that clears up some of the questions that have been being asked. Last issue, guys, and this is a big one. Those of you who have signed up for buses this year, you know that I hope you know we are doing our best to make sure the kids are at school on time, and then to get them home at a reasonable hour. But guys, let me tell you something. We are having some major challenges in our transportation department. Nothing of what the bus drivers, our routers, our mechanics, is nothing what they're doing. It's just that it's just the world that we're living in. Number one is, if you haven't seen this lately, nationally, we have a chronic shortage of drivers for schools. Is that correct, Tim? Across the nation, across the state of Texas, just not a lot of folks want to sign up to be bus drivers right now, and I don't blame them. That's why we honor the drivers that we do have this year. They're doing such a phenomenal job driving for us every single day. We just don't have very many of them right now. Plus, we have 2,000 more kids than we thought we would have. And of the 27,000 kids who are in our schools right now, Tim, 17,000 of them have signed up for buses. So it's all kind of coming together in a perfect storm. I'll give you an example. I think we were 9 bus drivers down today just because of sickness, whether it be COVID or just a regular day, or they had kids who were sick. So we are really trying to work through all that. So I want to make sure you understand. Number one is we're going to treat the buses the same way as the classrooms. If we get to that 10%, we're going to watch to see that. We may have to shut some routes down, and we may do that. But I want to make sure you understand, and parents, you're going to get a letter from me, and not all parents and caregivers are going to get this letter from me at the end of the week. Just the parents who have signed up for bus services, folks. If there is any way you can bring your kids to school this year, right now until further notice, please do so. And this is just an ask from the district. Right now, we've got kids getting home very, very late because we're having to double and triple routes because so many more kids need to ride the bus. We've got buses that are too full right now. We're having to leave kids at school and then come back and get them. So we've got some of our babies staying out really late right now trying to get home. Not so much of an issue in the morning. I think we're doing a pretty good job in the morning. It's just trying to get them home. Plus, we've got up-team buses going in right now. We've got some amazing activities going on. Our athletic activities, our fine arts activities, our career and tech activities that need to have transportation. So, parents and caregivers who are bus riders now, you're going to get a letter from me, and it's going to ask you to push a button on our website to unenroll. If you can take up that challenge for us right now to get us past where we're so far down in drivers right now and the bus drivers are struggling to do that, we would truly appreciate that. If you know there's no way you can get your student to school or back home, absolutely, we're going to come pick you up. We are absolutely going to come pick that student up and going to bring him or her home. But if it's an inconvenience for you but you could still do it, please think about that for the next month or so we can hopefully get past what we're doing right now to be able to do that. So you'll know that letter is going to come to you and that ask is coming to you. All right, last thing, folks. It should not be, and again, I'm not griping about this. It should be no surprise that I'm getting a lot of emails from parents right now. I'm getting a lot of emails from caregivers. We've talked about it in the past. I'm getting a lot of opinions, and I absolutely love that. I tell you, we are. There's no way I can individually answer, and we can individually answer all the emails that are coming in. But I do guarantee you that we are reading everything. We are looking at everything that you send in. That means that you are engaged in your child's education, that you care enough to send me those kind of things. If you do that, we should have 27,000 to 30,000 PTA members right now. As you continue to send me your opinions about what we're doing and send me your suggestions on how to do it better, think about signing up for PTA, guys. That is a direct engagement into those campuses. We should break a record this year for PTA. We really should. Because we have more parents are engaged this last year and a half than ever before, and that's a good thing. That is not a negative thing. That is a very positive thing. Even if you're not liking very much what we're doing right now, you're engaged. In addition to that, think about PTA and really getting infused into what those folks do so well, is just supporting our kids and supporting our schools every single day. Think about that, and it's very easy to do, and we would very much appreciate that support. I would love to break a record this year for the number of parents and caregivers in PTA and the number of teachers in PTA and PTSA, the number of students. We would love to do that. Okay, so folks, thank you for sitting there and listening to that presentation. I hope it gave you some good information. Angela, do we have some questions out there that we can go over?
We sure do, Dr. Warren. One of the things that I love to see, I love that our parents love being in our schools, and of course, appreciate the comments and respect those that, they want to be in the schools.
Absolutely.
They're upset about some of those events that are canceling, and so, of course, we absolutely understand that and those concerns. There's also been a few comments and people sharing about our dashboard. Some people have had recommendations on information they'd like and that they liked last year's better, so that may be something we want to take a look
and
at.
And that's not really a question, but I hope you heard me say, we had one comment by one person this morning on the PTA call, and we thought it was a great idea. So we're actually going to change the dashboard to include a little bit more information nobody else really said it was a dumb idea, and we thought it was a smart idea. So again, guys, and I can tell by some of the comments that are being sent in that you are frustrated. There is some frustration that you may not get a personal message back from either me or any of the staff. But guys, you just got to understand the volume that we're dealing with. We're a big school district, but we do not have the staff in place to answer emails like the ones that are coming in. We're going to read them all. I've told you that since spring break of 2020. We're going to read everything that comes in. We just do not have that. We've got other things that we need to be doing for your children and for the staff, but we're going to read it all. So any suggestions that you have to make it better, we will absolutely take into consideration.
All right, so are we going to be able to switch to remote learning if needed, or is that an option that was only available at the beginning of the school year?
That is to be determined. Right now, Michael, you want to explain a little bit about SB 15 and of what you've read? And I know, again, it's not the law yet.
Right. Currently, under our current remote plan, it is closed to new students wanting to enroll because we staffed according to those that signed up when the window opened, and our remote classrooms are full, and so we don't have additional staff for remote classes. However, with SB 15, we are just starting to dig into the new bill. Like you said, it hasn't passed or it hasn't been signed by the governor yet, but we expect it will be soon. So we are currently meeting to review the implications it has on our current remote plan, and then if there are additional changes that we would look to make for remote learning.
Yep. So she did a great thing to say, we don't know yet. We're not going to wait until the governor signs it. Like I said, Michael's already digging into it. Her staff is already digging into it. And we'll just have to, if and when the governor does sign it and it becomes law, then we'll make that decision then, whatever we feel is best for the children who are, if there's any kids and families out there who still feel that they need remote learning who weren't included in the first round.
Okay, we've had a few questions. I'm curious about the process for getting the COVID test at school and what is necessary to be able to get that test.
Okay, good. Tim?
Yes, so the COVID test at school is really to identify if you already have symptoms, do you actually have COVID? Right now, what we're doing is if a child is at school and is identified with symptoms, either through their teacher or through the nurse, they can go to the clinic. They'll be sent to the clinic to be evaluated, and then the clinic nurse will actually either see if the child's parent has already released them for a COVID test, or he or she will call and see if they can do a COVID test right there in the clinic. And then once that test is the results of that, they'll let the parent know, and then really just try to isolate that student the best they can until a parent can get there to pick up.
Right.
So the main thing is we have some questions about, can I bring my sick child up there for a test? And that's the one thing that TEA does actually say is absolutely, that's the first thing you shouldn't do is if your child's sick, stay home, go see your doctor. Don't come to the school.
So if the kid's already in school and just starts to feel bad, they can absolutely go to the nurse like they would be, and then with parent permission, that we can test them.
Absolutely.
And another thing, and you may have just said this, Tim, but the test is not really for students or staff with no symptoms.
Right.
Correct.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. So it's really not, and we're having some controversy because the state is telling us that teachers need to, if they are in close contact, they need to be checked about, twice.
Periodically,
twice every week, 2 weeks or something like that. But the test is really not for that. It's not to tell us a well person if they're going to get sick. It's for somebody who's already experiencing symptoms
To confirm
to
sickness.
confirm if it's COVID or if it's just regular sick.
Right.
So,
Right.
good question.
Okay, another question about COVID. How is investigation taking place? I know we've said that we aren't doing contact tracing the same way, but can you explain what that what the investigation process looks like, I guess?
Absolutely. And you brought up a key word. We're not doing contact tracing because we're not identifying close contacts and then having them quarantined. What we're doing this year is very similar to it, except we're doing what I'd say case tracing, so positive case tracing. So in that instance, what we're doing is if, let's say we have a situation, we've had this exact situation, I won't list class or school or anything like that, but where you have 3 kids in a classroom that all have tested positive, and we know that, the parents have sent in the data, we know it's positive, and we start doing the research to say, okay, did these 3 contract that as a cluster, as a part of that classroom? Or did these 3 contract that because of other situations outside the school? And so in some instances, we've found that those 3 all contracted it because they're all 3 neighbors and they played together and they spent the night at each other's house, and that was the cluster. It was really outside the school model. We saw no more active cases in the classroom, so we could attribute those 3 cases to being outside the school system. We've had other situations in which we have closed down a classroom where there is no outside connection. There's no, they didn't sit together at lunch, they didn't play at recess, they don't live next to each other, they're not friends away from school, and these cases are popping up in the
A
classroom.
specific classroom.
And that is, we go, okay, that is the cluster. It is being spread in the classroom, and that's those cases we have shut down.
Yep.
So that investigation takes place, looking, visiting with those families, visiting with the teachers and the principals, and understanding what is the relationship of these kids to the classroom and to their contacts outside of the classroom.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Maybe one more?
Dr. Warren, you had talked about House Bill 4545 and the changes that were made.
Yes.
And again, contact your legislatures if you have concerns about that. But some of the questions that we had centered around students with learning disabilities and how it applies to our students in special education or those students with special disabilities.
And Michael can speak to this, but again, parents and caregivers, that's again one of the issues that we had with 4545 because it cast a very wide net on a lot of students. And no matter what program the kids are in, whether they're in our special services, whether they're in our language services, if they're dual language services, GT, any kid could have a bad day. And not pass the test that they usually do. And that's the issue that we have because TEA and the legislature has never been this prescriptive. They've never told us every kid has to have X amount of hours. And the 30 hours to me is just above and beyond. And I'll say this, and I think I was a little bit critical of our Commissioner of Education. I'm really not. I really didn't want to be because he is trying to work through a lot of different things on 4545. I do think he thinks it's going to be very good for the children. I just don't think so. I think that it's going to put a lot of kids in situations where they're going to be burned out very quickly. And that's why I'm saying is, and again, I think with his support, we're going to be allowed to be a little bit more, again, have a little bit more grace in fulfilling the law, but not just doing it so much where the kids, are just so turned off by learning because they're having to do so much additional things. Michael, did I say that right? So it does. A lot of our kids in our special programs, it's the same requirement.
Yes, it does.
And that's usually never the case. It's the ARD committee. Those the parents that are in our special services. You understand in our special programs, the ARD is the almighty when we talk about the decisions for the kids because it's a group of parents and caregivers. It's a group of teachers. It's a group of administrators and all the support, and they come together, look at individual needs of the child, and they set up a plan for the child to succeed. Now we have the state coming in and say, no, they just need 30 hours of this, and that's just not right. I could talk a long time about that, Angela, and everybody would tune out. Okay, folks, keep sending in your questions. We will do the same thing. Anthony Tosi, our Executive Director of Communication, he and his crew will go through and answer questions as they continue to come in. We love doing that. Make sure you keep doing that. So here's my little pep talk to end our session today. I started off this talk making sure I told you how proud I am of the kids, how proud I am of our families, of our staff. I want to end in the same way, guys. And I want you to preface this and wrap your mind around this, just the world that we're living in right now. We made it through the first part of our school year. You know, even though we're only 14 days in it, that first big push for our new school year, where everybody, well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people were nervous, a lot of people were scared. They didn't know what COVID was going to look like. They didn't know, what do we do and everything like that. We have made it through there, and we are now on the other side of that initial, we should be on the other side of that initial scare, all right, for the lack of a better word. So now let's make a commitment to each other. Let's move on from that. And my message is, don't let COVID rule or ruin your life. Don't let it rule your life. I know some of you actually set your clock alarm for when we update the numbers on the dashboards. I know you do that. I know some specific parents who do that because they want to see the numbers exactly when they come in. Guys, if you need to know the numbers, that's fine. That's why we've got them up there and that. But don't let that consume you. Don't let the number of positives that we make every day, if we gain, if we lose, what the number, don't let that consume you. More so than any other time in our lives, our kids need to see us, the adults around them, modeling the behavior that will show them, here's the challenge, here's what we've got to do about the challenge, and here's how we're going to do. They need to see us being strong, they need to see us being brave, and they need to see us supporting but also pushing them, because that is what our teachers have to do right now. The teachers were in the same boat as we all were in. They were scared at the beginning. The vast majority of them had some fear, had scared, had some trepidation, whatever you want to call it. But we should be over that now, and we should be in that mode of, now we've got to teach. And our crew is doing such a great job of this. We have plans for every single one of our 27,500 kids to get them to where we'd be next May. And they need to see us talking about that, not so much consumed in the craziness of the world, COVID, politics, whatever's going on, but just letting them hear us talk about how well they're doing, talk about us pushing them even further, and then just the support. So just don't live in fear, because we could. I can get into the biggest funk that you have ever seen in your life just thinking about some things going on right now, and I've got to get myself out of it at all times. My wife gives me the suck it up speech, and that usually does it for me, and then we move on. So if you need to give yourself or a spouse or whatever, give yourself that speech, please do so. But we've got very special kids. Y'all know that. We've got very special families. Our staff are second to none. Let's wrap our arms around each other. Let's get on down the road of everything that we're doing. Don't be consumed in fear. And we are going to have that school year that we need to have. Our kids are right there in the middle of everything that we're doing, and everything is centered on making them better and getting them to where they were, first of all, pre-COVID, and then even further. And so, can't say enough how much we appreciate you, the support. Keep sending the questions in, and if anything changes, if anything is to change about the way we're doing anything, you parents and caregivers, you'll be the first to know about anything like that. We're going to do our best to get the job done for you and for your children, and we're going to do it together. All right, so everybody have a great evening, have a great week this week, and be safe.